Here's what my Sims baby infant bootcamp has taught me. Hey humans, how's it going? It's Shani Zade here, and honestly, we've had the pack and the updates for infants for about 2 weeks now, a little bit over 2 weeks. I would also like to thank EA for sending me a code to Growing Together. It's been really fun exploring this pack. Needless to say, I've learned a lot, and I've done a lot of what I've been referring to as baby boot camping. Straight out the break, base game infants walk in the park in comparison to pack infants. To start off, this isn't my best baby challenge tips blah 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 video because I'm still busy working on that finer tweaking for that. And if you also haven't watched the video that I did about what infants broke with the baby challenge, make sure you go check that video out. But I have some workarounds for that too. So base game infants, your main focus, other than keeping their needs up and keeping your parents and your caregivers' needs up at the same time, and remembering to let them nap every 2 seconds feels like, is the high chair, okay? I know we've always strayed away from the high chair, but the high chair is probably the most important thing in an infant's development, because with base game, it's the only real thing you have to track in terms of, other than their affection and their moodlets and their needs, you can either like, dislike, or love food. When I say that I tasted this out the wazoo, and I tested over 16 different test scenarios with different infants, different traits, and I tracked how long it took for them to come to an outcome on each of these foods, I can definitely say without a shadow of a doubt, intense children are probably some of my favorite in terms of getting them to like food or have an opinion about food in a high chair. You want to stay away from your cautious and your sensitives, because one child took me 7 tries to figure out what they liked about a certain food or not, or if they liked a certain food or not. Also to date, over, 25, 30 infants in, I've not had a single child not like ice cream, okay? I've had like or love. I've not had a single dislike for ice cream yet on the high chair. If you've had a dislike for ice cream, please let me know, and yeah, we can send that child to timeout. No, I'm kidding. Ice cream's not for everybody. Pack infants. Notebook time. The following are your infant quirks: early riser, feeding tinkler, free air tinkler, frequently hiccups, frequently sneezes, gassy, good appetite, happy spitter, hates being held, hates wake up time, little babbler, loves being held, loves sounds, love wake up time, messy eater, picky eater, snuggly sleeper, and self-soother. Most of these can be found through general gameplay, and there's not anything that you really have to go out of your way to do. Anything relating to sleep, so whether it's early riser, or hates wake up time, or loves wake up time, that whether they wake up or whatever the case is, you'll probably figure that out through gameplay. Same with snuggly sleeper or self-soother. Then also actually, loves or hates being held, you'll figure it out as you go. Gassy also had a moment where I had the moodlet for being sad about being gassy before the gassy quirk was discovered. So that's something to keep in mind and look out for if you're trying to figure out what your quirks are. For love sounds, my recommendation, play with the squeaky toy or have the infant play with the squeaky toy. If they haven't unlocked the reach and grab yet, have someone hand them the toy so long. But that's how you figure out love sounds, at least for infants. And then everything else is pretty much straightforward in terms of gameplay. It really helps to use the changing table, because that will determine whether or not you unlock the free air tinkler or not. Because from my experience so far, if you're just changing them by flip, okay, no, not as likely to unlock as if you're using the changing table. I know it's a little bit more effort, but in the long run, it works out. Also, again, reminder, don't necessarily need to use the mobiles to play the music. Just have a radio in the room playing the lullaby songs. It'll be great. It'll work the exact same way. Outside of that, for infants, I have found that the playmats are great, especially if you have twins and you're trying to balance between the two of them. Try and make it so that you're working with one until they're super sleepy while the other one's asleep, so that you can switch their sleeping schedules. I've also, funnily enough, noticed that twins tend to have either similar or the same quirks. I don't have enough data to confirm whether this is actually really, but out of the twins that I've had so far, these are the kind of similarities I've had, at least in my baby challenge. So that's a bit interesting. And then moving on to toddlers, here's your toddler quirks. Aggressive, destructive, early riser, good appetite, hates bedtime, hates being carried, hates wake up time, heavy sleeper, light sleeper, little singer, loves being carried, loves books, loves sounds, loves wake up time, loves water, messy eater, wanderer, or picky eater. So again, a lot of these you'll discover through general gameplay, but some of it is related to specific types of gameplay. So all of the sleeping related ones, have your toddler go to sleep. It's great, particularly with baby challenge. I know most of us don't let our children sleep. Let your toddlers sleep. You might figure out which quirks they do and don't have. Then good appetite, messy eater, picky eater, blah, blah, blah. Have them have some food. It's great and it's fantastic. You'll figure it out that way. What they did mention with toddlers who happen to be occults, they're not necessarily guaranteed to have the following, but it's more likely that they might have these quirks. Werewolf toddlers might be destructive, vampire toddlers might be aggressive, spellcaster toddlers might love books. So, good to know. Yes, amazing, fantastic. Give them a bath. They'll figure out if they love water or not. Loves books. Great. Just to have them read them a toddler book. Amazing. Cool. Amazing. For love sounds, have them babble to themselves. That's great. That's quick. That's super fast. Wanderer is probably my favorite quirk for a toddler because if you age them up, yay, happy birthday. You put them down and off they go immediately. And you're like, well, that's a quirk discovered. That's great. That's amazing. Little singer, I really do like this interaction now that you can have them sing to other Sims. So that's very fun. I have noticed children who tend to love water will ask for baths autonomously. So that's something worth noting. Even though they might not necessarily need a bath, they will ask for baths. That's just, again, something that I've discovered. The babble issue that I spoke about in my previous video about how you can't necessarily babble on the Blarfy anymore to work on communication. You can babble with plants though, so it's still fixed on plants. So if you have a living, breathing plant that you have cared for, your child can go and work on their communication there, so that's super useful. Shout out to my Discord for pointing this out to me. Babbling on the Blarfy, still busted. Sliding on the movement slide, still busted. Has been nerfed into the ground. I also don't know if there's any correlation between quirks that they had as an infant versus a toddler, although there are some similarities, but I don't know. There's a pool of 18 quirks for both infant and toddler. You never know with the Sims. I will update you once I have more data to go from my baby challenge. Let me know what some of your favorite moments with the pack have been. If you don't watch my streams, come check them out. We are trying to have 500 children plus with one mother in one lifetime. We're currently up to 425, so 75 babies to go. Yay! I will also say a lot of my approach to infants has been because I am a baby challenger and I want to get them out the house or at least aged up to toddlers and children as quickly as possible. But I will say as like general gameplay, probably one of the best packs that they've released in the Sims franchise this Growing Together has been. But then also they really hit the animations out the park. Like, absolutely 10 out of 10 animations for whether the infants are sad, whether they're upsetty spaghetti, whatever else the case may be. All of the interactions and the animations, absolutely stunning. There are some dodgy moments that we will all admit do happen, but that's fine. It's okay. We're fine. I am still compiling the best practices for the baby challenge. If you want to know how I'm continuing on my baby challenge, I have left a link in the description below for what my current criteria are for aging infants and toddlers up before they can go to their next life stages. But again, all creators are able to do their own rules because no one owns the rights to this challenge. It's a video game. It's okay. It's amazing. You Sims the base Sims that you can Sims the way you want to play the Sims, you know? And if anyone tells you otherwise, tell them Shani said they can play however they want, okay? Cool? Yes? Cool. Amazing.